So, a minority leader, Afenyo Markin, Sebusian, IGP, a Dampare Church, ruling na Omaya and ni Ajon, and then audience be at Biane Abronye lawyers in the NPP for the Nsimbi at Bian Persia or Niburum.
Therefore, you get arrested for criticizing the government. They say causing fear and panic. These are the things that politicians take for granted when they get power. And in the end, before they realize it's too late to recover. Yesterday, I was sat in court. I brought the ruling of the judge. I was the lead counsel for Abronye. And because we are in an academic environment, though you are not lawyers, I want you to just Google after here the case of Tagore versus the Republic. It's a court of appeal decision. Tagore. It was Dr. Ayeni who did that case on appeal, where the Court of Appeal said that the fact that a case gains notoriety in public space, it doesn't whittle down the requirement to meet all the ingredients to be proven to find the person guilty. And that the prosecution must lead evidence. So you hear of a matter, it's being discussed on social media, and we think it's sufficient, the person is guilty. Tagore was freed by the Court of Appeal on those cocaine-related charges because the Court of Appeal felt that prosecution could not do a good job. So if somebody is alleged to have committed an offense, what the police is supposed to do is to have all the patience to investigate and follow due process. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we get impatient, but the best way to sustain democracy is to ensure that institutions work, and they work for the good of all. So yesterday, a judge receives Abronye in his court. Earlier in the week, the police go to him. The prosecutor says to the judge, I want you to remand him till Friday. Then he also granted. Yesterday we were in court. This is what the judge said. Listen to him. He's a judge. Listen to him. He says, quote, accused person before the court is facing 2 charges of misdemeanor. Misdemeanor is a lesser offense, an offense that means nothing, really. If you are convicted, it's a fine, then you go home. This is important. It says, however, in this instant case, the court will not look at only the charges being misdemeanor, but will extend it to the position of the IGP to the country. That is the head of the police service. The words which came from the accused person is likely to put the security of the nation into disrepute. Then he goes further to worsen the matter. He says, it is always said that all persons are equal are equal persons, but in practice, it is not so. Then he quotes George Orwell's satire, The Animal Farm. One of the commandments is that all men are equal, but some are equal than others. Translated into this case, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others. This is what the judge said. To remand Abronye into custody again. If you are a judge and you're remanding somebody into custody, what you are basically saying is that if the person is granted bail, he may not come to court for trial, or he would interfere in the investigation. The judge did not say this in his ruling. he says that the matter involves IGP. And all men are not the same. So if you are involved in a matter with somebody who is considered a big person in society, you go to jail. Such a dangerous precedent. If we don't talk about it, where would be our democracy? And ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to have been part of ECOWAS Parliament. I have roamed through the sub-region. Ghana stands tall, but we can make it better.
The issue of the arrest of party functionaries. I think that I agree with you totally that the decision of the trial court judge, especially in the Abronye case, defies every logic and every legal principles that I have come into contact with as a young lawyer. That point must be made. That decision, when I read it last night, I was embarrassed by that decision, especially as a government spokesperson. I simply it didn't just sit well with me. I tried to look for justification behind such a decision, but I simply couldn't. But this is why I disagree with leader. Many of you in your social studies class, you know the difference when it comes to separation of powers and the different arms of government. The judiciary is on its own. The executive is on its own. The legislature is on its own. And this government promised a reset. It may be difficult for many of you to agree that we are not interfering when it comes to the functions of the judiciary. But I can tell you with all sincerity and certainty, based on where I sit, that we are doing everything within our power not to interfere when it comes to the functions of the judiciary and how they go about their judgments. And so this judgment that was released yesterday is nothing but a poor decision emanating from one of our arms of government, which is the judiciary. The very reason why the National Democratic Congress, under His Excellency President John Evans Atta-Mills, made a promise in opposition to reset the judiciary. And if you read the judgment fully, you see, we are having to deal with the effects of the bad political interventions of the last regime. In 8 months, we may not be able to cure all that, but we are doing our best. And this judgment is one of the effects of the last 8 years. If you read the judgment, the same judge alluded to the fact that in 2023, he remanded an NDC activist for insulting Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as president of the Republic of Ghana. That same judge. And many of us in the NDC then condemned him for that action. It is that same judge who remanded the Woodman presenter. I'm sure you guys have read it. So in his mind, what he did, and he was hailed under Nana Addo, he can be forgiven to think that this government will also hail him. So when I read the judgment, I saw it more as self-serving agenda to force down a consistency narrative down our throats to defend. And that is not why the NDC won power. The NDC did not win power to continue the perpetuation. So my dear brothers and sisters, like leader said, the judgment is bad, but when you read it or you hear them make commentary,
I said maybe 2 weeks a year detention. Go ahead straight away say 2 weeks because what standard did 2 weeks. But who yes na monkoma for me who need for so because what bobu tibu person man ba kola dem 2 weeks according to president Awoka no. Sana tin kwa wo year no 2 weeks. It Abronye so come 2 weeks. Sana tie. La President Mahama question media for I thought was what the IP address. Everybody confirm on hate speech. I didn't confront them. President Mahama, let me tell you, no Ghanaian will take an advice from an operator of a motel. I'm telling you. Then to me, any a football and through beer, or your motel, Juma. menka di twi zero ye ka se motel a sir we will not take moral lessons from a motel operator. We will not take moral lessons from a motel operator. President Mahama, you must get this thing clear. We will not take any moral lessons from a motel operator. But the bench and says, Obia wa boss a bra. Obia wa ti a yiba bia wajida to hosa ndo boss a bra. Na wo hu ababa wa bi. Na wa ne kancho bi na ho no mu twam a ene maba maba ena mo pempena twe na wo twempena wo wote puna no emema esa wo lie edi wo jiska wo moral rights what me to before President Mahama as a former president opposition leader who to be catching for this say omo eye atimse kawa mafia fo da bene sa de ne bai oh yes, I don't know if I don't yet you. Yancho, and some man go for and this if what can. Omo must sponsor womo. Now, the moment I be every president, I know. Say, what be you say, yeah, the IP address, a bet you, you be saying, like, let's just say, we a tyrant. Let's say, we a tyrant. And I think, say, President Mahama. Was a democratic leader, but with tyrannical tendencies. Of course, some of this in the a coup d'etat and a woman free by. But in the democracy, making a statement was only media for Shia or Kasai and Sana, a media for Busabusa the questions. Now, the real for Yama can statement none of pay. Ghana saying one of the most critical issues that we are grappling with is security. Stupid. Ghana nipa 13,000 akwatina Cote d'Ivoire almost every ukrom ukosi Ghana for media for wo kasa no wo sede yi niema ehia wo pa bebre as president statement enim. And to you, no dear, any part 30,000 go to go to Cote d'Ivoire and found 48,000 people displaced and found. You didn't mention it until somebody asked you. But somebody asked you, and I'll come once and to baby. It's what says in Ghana who nano insecurity and found. Any prior so more according to. Mine is it about 30 na sana Ghana is in Eka but you got a malipota and what it here any problem so we say more number 200 now I share media for one can't wash him Galam say put the minka member abeja for aka Galam say once Peter Akwaba
Yania
now what to say
oh ahmode o nyankopon dom
ye de miasi
chia o chia telephone ya phone na
and that's once again what sense
but first of all, that was I couldn't have their money. I'm a chairman now. Yet, share a T4, yet, share Ghana for, share MPP for, especially Dr. Mahmoud Baumi. Nyamia Doma, obviously, be a name, not 2028. Yapako win elections. No, I mean, now. Yahu amemo papa enya amemo ayehu ohwe amemo NBC for ebuya ayura John Dan ya ohu Ghana for say Ghana for NBC card bearing members the first and the referee say enye card bearing member NBC members en kwande to abamana ko fu bebre ho no mo ano mo gidie e woni mo ba meden ono aso ni besi answer
okay
be ba so
Mati
on the question I'll be saying sometimes judges refer to instructive opinions from recognized publishers.
Okay.